The Intercept has posted the full transcript of Trump's call with Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. And I'm going to read some parts of it here. I'll put the link below. Typical just blundering Trump talks to this guy who has done, it's a murderous, it's a drug war, but he's just gone out and used that to just kill and murder people. Sound familiar? Have we done that in America? Did we militarize our cops in this country to let them just go have free reign through the inner cities? And it was, so the document came from within actually the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs. They did Foreign Affairs. They did a transcript of the phone call, and that's where the Intercept got access to this. And, he talked about the threat of North Korea probably using nuclear weapons with them. President Trump said, I enjoyed the conversation and looking forward to the Philippines in November for the East Asian Summit. He invited him to the White House. Trump is just a complete jackass buffoon. Just doesn't know who this guy is and how awful he is, and just, come by the house. He just thinks he's some CEO on the golf course talking to another CEO. He has no idea the international implications of what he's doing at all, none. And so let's read a little bit of this fine transcript. Oh, so this is unbelievable that, and just the way Trump talks, it's crazy. The Filipino president says every generation has a madman, and our generation is Kim Jong-un. You are dealing with a very delicate problem, Trump. We can handle it, but you can keep the pressure on him. Trump, I hope China solves the problem. They really have the means, because a great degree of their stuff come through China. They're doing certain things like not accepting calls, but if China doesn't do it, we will do it. I try to make a call, this is the Filipino president, to President Xi Jinping, which is the Chinese president. I will tell him that if we will remain peaceful, China has the card. The other option is a nuclear blast, which is not good for everybody. That's what Duarte says. Then Trump says, you can tell him I am counting on him. I have a very good relationship with him. I have had him in Florida for 2 days and got to know him well. He's a good guy. I had him in Florida. He's a good guy. Down in Mar-a-Lago. Jackass. There's what Trump says then, again, about Kim Jong-il. We can't let a madman with nuclear weapons let on the loose like that. We have a lot of firepower, more than he has, 20 times, but we don't want to use it. You will be in good shape. It's just like, what's the point of this call? We get 20 times the firepower. We'll take him out. Don't worry. What are you talking about? Like an Orkin guy just to come spray down one of your mansions? What do you think? It's unbelievable. What this conversation, and he tells him you're doing an amazing job. He's doing an amazing job of this. It's unbelievable. It's like it's crazy. And does he even know who Duarte, what he's done? Does he even know how he's treated the people of the Philippines? And he talked about their drug war. He said that we got drug problems here. We got to take care of them. This First of all, the quote war on drugs has been happening for decades. And drugs is a health issue. It's not a criminal issue. Now, obviously, people that commit violent acts of crime while on drugs or trying to get drugs, obviously that's bad. But drug addiction is a health problem. We need to address that. We need to address that we have a giant homeless population that is suffering from severe mental illness, and they're self-medicating with street drugs. And nobody wants to care about this at all. And this war on, everything's a war. Everything's about war. Everything's about getting everyone. Yeah, there's a war on drugs. We got to have a war on this. We got a war on that. Just to basically get the American people and the world to just be okay with war. War is an awful, awful thing. People killing one another, blowing each other up is an awful, horrible thing. And as Chris Hedges talks about, this never-ending war, this constant state of war breeds a hyper-masculinity where anything that is like compassion, love, empathy, those are viewed as weak or female. And man, you got to be tough, and you don't cry, and you don't express love, and you don't show sadness. Those are weak female traits. And I'm Mr. Tough Guy. Yeah, I had the guy from China down in Florida. He's a good guy. Like, what do you? It's this ridiculous hypermasculinity that is motivated by this constant state of war, and it's just, it's unbelievable. He writes, I just wanted to congratulate you because I'm hearing of the unbelievable job on the drug problem. Many countries have the problem. We have a problem. But what a great job you're doing. I just wanted to call and tell you that. Thank you, Mr. President. Duarte says, this is the scourge of my nation, and now I have to do something to preserve the Filipino nation. Drugs are an awful problem, but this, again, it's more of, and people are profiting from these drugs. Politicians are profiting. Cops are profiting from this. Like, not all cops, obviously, not all politicians, but there's so much money to be made from drugs. If they really wanted to stop it, they could. If they really wanted to, if we responded, with some compassion towards addicts and get them help and get them cleaned up and get them off their drugs and really started to help people, then maybe we would reduce the need for drugs. Also, if people had some hope, if people had good health care, good education, good jobs, clean energy, jobs from clean energy, would people's lives be so bad that they would need would need drugs? If their lives were that good? If we were addressing abuses and sexual assault in this country, and the abuses, the domestic abuse and the abuse of kids, if we were actually addressing that rather than sweeping it under the rug and pretending it wasn't there, maybe we wouldn't have this need for violence and drug use and escapism. If we had a real, actual, amazing world that we could create here, right now, we wouldn't need all this stuff, and then we wouldn't have a drug problem that we would need to have a war against. I'm tired of all the war talk. I'm just sick of it, man. Everything's just the war machine. And we got jackasses like Trump, who the Democrats put in power. I'm sick of fucking hearing the Democrats blame everybody else except themselves. I'm hearing people talk. I'm just talking to a friend who's like, oh man, we gotta take back the House and the Senate in 2018. I go, take back with what? More corporate Democrats that support war? People like Howard Dean and Hillary Clinton and John Kerry that support war, that are pro-war people, that have profited from war? That's who we need to take back with what? We need real progressives, man. We need real anti-war, no more war. Like, done progressives. Because then we have these jackasses having a phone call. It's unbelievable. And I'm so glad The Intercept exists to get these kind of transcripts. And I'm glad some people are trying to speak out about this, because it's brutal. It's brutal. Thanks for supporting the show, you guys. Like and subscribe. Patreon is below, as are the links. You're great.